Dream Team, it's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with America's Scams, Australia, with our guy Friendly Jordies once again. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, give a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Oh my God!
The thing about Friendly Jordies is we're a pretty localised channel. We stay close to the ground. We do videos on train stations, local councils, gambling at the pub. We know our place. We might not be able to influence global politics, but we can damn well piss off a mayor or two. What? Someone did an attack video on me? Well, it's more than you did. What are you doing for Australia, huh? We generally try to avoid videos on these lofty, abstracting, big, highfalutin ideological debates like communism versus capitalism, free will versus determinism, moist critical versus sneaker. Actually, I will delve into that one for a second. Sorry, Charlie, I know you really came to the rescue in my darkest hour, but I gotta go with the future Vice President of the United States. It looks like there's a good chance he's gonna have his finger on the nuclear codes one day, so I'm not risking Sydney's obliteration. Well, then again, as Charlie points out, he doesn't seem to know his way around weapons that well, but still, probably not going to risk it, because the entire theme of today's video is knowing your place. This is about the Australia, United Kingdom, United States of America Security Pact, or AUKUS for short, and my very influential say on it. Think about what you're doing, Albo. If Paul Keating hasn't changed your mind, maybe me calling you cringe will prevent you doing something you basically have no control over. Like, I get it. I completely get where you're coming from, but I'm on the net here, so this is gonna be quite awkward. So I gotta feed the beast of what the 20-year-olds online want, so why don't you single-handedly go up against our imperial overlords and tell them to fuck off, huh? That would be, as the net would say, based. That's right. Who are you going to listen to? The most powerful, opaque group of ruthless political operatives on Earth? Or the Pentagon? Thanks, folks. Another Bill Maher switcheroo classic. And Bill, I won't stop stealing your formula until you let me on real time. Just study yell over some MSNBC host turned woke former military advisor who you just know signed off on some gnarly shit in furious agreement with how bad January 6 was.
God dang. Oh my jeez.
Please, it'd be a dream come true. Anyway, if you don't know what AUKUS is, it's ostensibly a security pact between the three main English-speaking countries. Get fucked, Canada. It comes in the wake of the rise of China, or more accurately, the decline of the USA. It's going to be the going out of business security pact, where everything but Taiwan must go! But what it really is international geopolitical racketeering against Australia, the smallest, bestest, most winning country out of the three. It's true though. It's America basically saying, hey Australia, nice sovereignty you got there, yeah, but you worried about China, huh? Yeah, I would be too. I hear they might want to interfere with your democratic processes. It'd be a shame if that happened, so I think we can help you out with a deal. Oh, sweet. What's the deal? You give us $368 billion, eh? Yeah, and you get some nuclear submarines to stop China from getting up in your face. Top quality materials, top of the line. Look, they cut glass. So yeah, we're spending $368 billion of our tax dollars.
That sounds like America. That's the way Friendly Jordies did his skit. That sounds like America.
On American nuclear submarines. That's a lot of money. So if I only make one point in this video, it is this. If we're spending that much money, we damn well better fucking use those subs. Let's make everyone in Peking duck. Look, this video is not even going to be about whether AUKUS is good or bad, because honestly, I think former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating can answer that a little better than me. He also is really good at slamming the press, so I highly suggest you watch this video.
At the Kabuki show in San Diego a day or so ago, there's three leaders standing there. Only one is paying, our bloke, Albo. The other two, you know, they've got the band playing, happy days are here again. You know, the American president can hardly put three coherent sentences together. And so, guess what? We're going to pass across $380 billion, over time, and we have to build the bases here. After what you co-wrote with Harcher last week in that shocking presentation in the Herald, on Monday, Tuesday, and went, "You should hang your head in shame." I'm surprised you even have the gall to stand up in public and ask such a question, frankly. You know, you ought to do the right thing and drum yourself out of Australian journalism, you know. I mean, that's the most egregious, the worst, the most biased presentation.
I mean, you had...
Oh yeah, he was going off. He was going on his rant. He was gonna let them hear his thoughts, how he felt about it.
Clinton Fernandez, a former Australian Army intelligence officer turned professor. So he's pretty legit, saying that Australia could buy 20 conventional submarines that are quieter and better for doing Australian shit, like submarine burnouts. Yeah, only 30 billion bucks. Shop around, you can't beat that. We're spending 368 billion on 8. Scarily, Fernandez says the reason we're getting nuclear is the cost. It's deliberate. It's designed to make it impossible for a future Australian government to have an independent defence policy. And I know by this stance I'm automatically going to piss off a bunch of Call of Duty playing military larpers, some of whom are probably even in our military. But until you fight a noble war, you're still LARPing. I've been closer to an actual bomb than some of you losers in the Australian military. Not as if you sit behind computers. Shut up. So hold your comments about nuclear submarines being far superior to conventional regular submarines because shut up, nerd. I don't care. This video is about the limits of Australian sovereignty and power. Nothing nerdy about that. Now, I'm going to commit some personal heresy in this video. When former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating savaged Australia's press, defence establishment and politicians in the Australian Labor Party for going along with AUKUS, not going to lie, it was pretty hectic. But one element of his rebuke rang a little hollow. Fuck, that hurts to say. But he really took aim at Foreign Minister Penny Wong. Now look, don't get me wrong. I agreed with everything. But it did feel overly harsh on Wong and Albo. It felt like it wasn't giving Australians the full picture. Someone in the Labor Party put it to be best, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they essentially said the Liberals are going to go along with AUKUS because they're fucking idiots. But do you really think Penny Wong is an idiot? Do you think Anthony Albanese is an idiot? Only if I'm on Channel 7 talking about the budget, gotta dumb it down. So why is Labor going along with the security pact that very arguably isn't in the sovereign interests of Australia, or at the very least is opposed by the majority of rank and file members of the Labor Party, and I'd suspect a large amount of its federal leaders as well. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's probably opposed by Albo and Penny Wong. Well, I'm going to say something that might shock you, but America, despite maybe being less powerful than it was before, so yeah, we get that argument, it's still extremely powerful. Remember, there is a verified cuck soon to have his finger on the button. Australia has a rich history of the United States interfering in our democratic process, and before then we had a rich history of the United Kingdom doing the same. There are some forces, and this will shock you, that are a little more powerful than the Australian Prime Minister. I really think getting angry at Albo at this is like getting angry at your local mayor. Labor Prime Minister Gough Whitlam found that out the hard way. He wanted to nationalise Australia's resources sector, and
yeah, I feel like America, when you know what I'm saying, when they put a deal on the table with another country, they be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? We can do this the easy way. We can do it the hard way. No, he said, but I'm gonna let you choose. I feel like America be strong arming people. Definitely be strong arming countries. And if you decide you want to do it the hard way, they'll figure out how to get their way. Because that's America's history.
and threatened to shut down the USA's Northern Territory spy base, Pine Gap, that they're still probably using to this day to run drone wars. He ordered our intelligence agencies to cut ties with the US. Huge stuff. With the head of ASIO subordinating and not following Whitlam's orders. It led to a royal commission into ASIO. But perhaps the most gangster of them all, Whitlam threatened to out CIA agents operating in Australia. I'm pretty sure that's why Whitlam was sacked by the Governor General. I don't think it had much to do with the budget supply bill not getting through the Senate. Same Governor General, by the way, that is pretty much on public record as a paid American intelligence operative. This video isn't going to be a rundown explaining the American-backed coup of
That doesn't surprise me.
Off Whitlam. I've already done one of those, linked in the description if you want to watch it. It's pretty good. I might make another one in the future if you're interested. Just leave a comment if you want me to. But the example of Whitlam clearly demonstrates limits of Australian sovereignty. A Prime Minister is not an emperor, he is but a governor in the Empire's provinces. Another example, perhaps a little less clear-cut, is that of Kevin motherfucking Rudd. WikiLeaks diplomatic cables revealed that the United States was not too happy with old Ruddy, mainly because he was pursuing foreign policy independent of the United States, which at the time was dramatically shifting its focus to a rising China. Now, and this is important, in the Labor Party, there were multiple hacks that were snitching to the United States government about internal Labor Party politics and Australian government business. So much so that in June of 2008, about 2 years before Rudd was ousted by Gillard, American diplomats were sounding out what a potential Gillard government would look like. Key among them was Senator cum fixer for Crown Casino, cum according to LinkedIn pronoun-using wokester, Mark Bibb. Gee, Mark, hope the US Embassy referred to you by your correct pronouns when you were selling out the country. Even back in the day, in leaks, he was virtue signalling, telling the Yanks, oh yeah, King Beasley might not be into the Iraq War, but don't worry, I am. Other US protected sources included the then Secretary of the Australian Workers' Union, Paul Howes, who reminded the US, don't worry, Gillard isn't a radical. Paul Howes has also been a keynote speaker at the Jewish National Fund Australia, a group that has been accused by other Jewish groups of land theft and ethnic cleansing. Another protected source was Labor MP Michael Danby, a man who was so sycophantic to the United States and Israel that he made nationalists in those countries blush. He now works at some warmongering anti-extremism think tank funded by multiple different governments, including the UK and Japan, and an Israeli NGO called NGO Monitor that basically goes,
You published a report that incorrectly inferred Palestinians are people.
And another was MP David Feeney, who's now a senior fellow at the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, a think tank funded by multiple weapons manufacturers, the Australian government, and a plethora of other foreign governments, including the US, UK, and Israel. Coincidentally, they're probably the loudest think tank cheering on a war with China and AUKUS in Australia. So of course, you can see them on the pages of the Sydney Morning Herald and on the ABC just about every day. Do you know what all the US protected sources within the Labor Party also had in common? They were all key organisers in the leadership spill against Rudd, replacing him with a much more pro-Israel, pro-United States, less independent, less patriotic, let's just be honest, downright worse Prime Minister. I mean, you know, better than Abbott, but come on. Former Foreign Minister Bob Carr published his own text.
I'm telling you, yeah. America, I feel like they be having their hand in so many countries. And who's going to be the leader of that country? They know what's going on in these countries. You know what I'm saying? They got people on the inside. They got military bases. They got, it's just, like you say, it's not as powerful, I guess, as it was, but I mean, it's still the most powerful country on earth, I think, right? It's still the most powerful. I could be wrong. But, so yeah, even though it might not be right, they U.S. controls so much.
I mean, you know, better than Abbott, but come on. Former Foreign Minister Bob Carr published his own text with Julia Gillard that show how beholden to Israel and the Americans she was. What's scary is Gough Whitlam and Kevin Rudd weren't anti-US radicals, and neither am I. I just think Chicago might be better run by Party Secretary of Shenzhen, Meng Fan Lee. Come on, you know he'd get the crime rate down. Triggered? Prove me wrong in the comments. These prime ministers were just true blue Australian patriots acting in Australia's national interest. But the thing is, sometimes acting in Australia's national interest conflicts with Washington DC's interests, or Langley, Virginia's interest, or foreign corporate interests. Well, they all kind of overlap.
Exactly.
How sad is it, though, that this line comes from former Foreign Minister Bob Carr's bio? Mr. Rudd reflects on how few people run the country. The Murdoch media, the heads of Rio and BHP, probably the heads of the big banks, and that mob. By which he means the hardline pro-Israel lobby in Melbourne. Which brings me to my point about Keating, which is, I agree with him, he's right, but I'm going to save my scorn not for those that know the limits of their power and are acting accordingly. You know, if Albo opposed AUKUS, he'd be out in a term. Actually, historically, not even a term. Half. My scorn is going to be for the cheap rates of the Labor Party that are bought off with a trip to Israel, some American leadership dialogue trip to Washington, or some shitty mysterious State Department funded MBA. The supposed hawks that won't shut the fuck up about national security, but are the biggest leakers to foreign governments in Australia. But it's okay because they're good foreign governments, you see? So Sorry, after the housing video, there's kind of another dour video about the limits of power, but you watch. All the numbskulls in the comments are now going to say, "Blame it, 2 inches, James Bird. We're run by cowards." Yeah, you're such a big man. I'm sure every time your boss tells you something, you say, "No, fuck off. I'm taking this company to strange new places." Actually, maybe not. If you're leaving that comment, come on, there's a good chance you're unemployed. But you do need to get this through your head. There is an empire, and the Australian Prime Minister is not the emperor. And that does not necessarily mean that you should not be supporting a good governor of said province. I mean, look at this. Record employment figures. Some of the most ambitious environmental reforms on earth. We'll be talking about those real soon. Biggest hospital reform since Medicare. NDIS being turned back into an insurance scheme for the disabled as opposed to an insurance scheme for consultants. I could go on and on. But that is what a serious government does. They understand the limits of their power and they work within it. You may as well be getting mad at your local mayor for AUKUS. The way you expand that power isn't by shitting on them, but by becoming an active citizen. You join your union, you join the Labor Party, and you participate. The more honest, decent, normal Australian patriots in these institutions, the better. And I can tell, because you watch Friendly Jordies, you're all of the above, aren't you? Yeah, like and subscribe. And for the Americans watching, hey, you guys are all right. It's not like you control your government judge. It's all 2 wings of the same bird, isn't it? No, it's not. But just, you like and subscribe as well. Sorry about being very mean to you. Like, you guys are very nice. You're much nicer than my normal audience, gee.
We understand, Friendly Jordies. We understand. That's all we got for this. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. It's your boy D Neal. Out.